This video in no way condones fraud, but instead explains how it happens and the consequences thereof. Scammers, beware. By the end of this, you'll reevaluate what you think you plan on doing. Now let's get into it. Something brought you to this video, so I'm gonna assume you're interested in scamming a bank. First thing you're gonna wanna do is actually pick your target. Now there's all sorts of banks: commercial retail, international, correspondent, federal credit unions, online, but from what I've seen, online banks tend to be the most scammer friendly. I'm talking Ally, Chime, Vero, Discover. Apps work just as well. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Wise. Just don't use Zelle, because that's not actually an online bank. Zelle was created by the largest banks in the US to allow for customers to send funds back and forth. If you use Zelle, you will have the full force of these companies coming after you. But if you stick to online banks and apps, then you'll soon join the ranks of your typical scammer. Once you've picked your target, you'll proceed to open an account. Checking or savings, it doesn't matter, but not a credit account. Credit fraud will be covered in another video. As you're opening your account, you'll want to use an identity that is not yours. The name on the account will be their first suspect, so unless you want to definitely plead guilty, you have to use another identity. You can either steal an identity or create one. If you steal an identity, then it is no longer a victimless crime, and you should feel very bad about yourself.
Most horrifying experience of my life.
Deputies charged Renee with writing bad checks in 3 different counties.
This is Polk County. This is where I spent the most time.
43 days behind bars. That's how long it took to clear her name.
Karma will come for you. If you choose to create an identity, then be sure to tune into a future video on synthetic identity fraud. But you're definitely going to need to figure out how to open an account without your name on it. But before we continue, I ask that you press that like button and subscribe to the channel for more fraud news and analysis. Now this is where things get serious. You'll want to conduct a deposit that will temporarily fund the account and then make a withdrawal. In other words, print a check using a fake account number, write in any amount you want, and deposit that into your new bank account so that you have a balance to withdraw from. It doesn't have to be a check, it can be a bad wire or an ACH transfer from another account, but whatever you use, you'll want to withdraw funds as soon as possible. And before I forget, make sure to keep the dollar amount lower than $10,000 or else your activity will be reported to the IRS and you'll have to pay taxes on your earnings. Once you withdraw your funds, you're done. Depending on how you go about this, you can get some serious jail time and fines that will strip you of any kind of generational wealth. Aggravated identity theft can get you 2 years. Bank fraud can get you up to 30 years. Bad or worthless checks issued can be 1 year per check. Wire fraud, 20 years. These sentences all depend on the amount of money you've been charged with finessing, but we also didn't consider the restitution that you'd have to pay. And these charges are hard to fight. Once there's proof, that proof is usually rock solid, and it won't take long for a jury to make up their mind if it goes to trial.
4 years in prison today for her role in a $1 million check fraud ring. Deshae Melton was one of 5 people charged in this scheme. It went on for more than a year, in fact. She would deposit bad checks into Fifth Third bank accounts and withdraw money at ATMs, casinos, and check cashing businesses before they even cleared.
Usually fraudsters tend to plead guilty, though, and accept their sentence. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, every time we share secrets from the highly sought-after 2022 Fraud Bible, we take some of the value out of it. Why purchase the Bible when the game is already public knowledge? By taking the value out of the Fraud Bible, we stop putting money in the hands of those who make their living in the black market. So if you want more fraud news and analysis, then go ahead and press that like button and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, stay out of trouble.